can you go? Death row? What a brother, no. Once again, back is the incredible. Number one. 5 said freeze, and I got numb. Now they got me in the cell cause my records they sell. Cause a brother like me said word. Now I'm rapping and nothing you wanna listen to. What they can say to you, what you ought to do is follow for them. Tell what the people say, make a miracle. Of the lyrical, black is back, all in, we're gonna win, check it out.
Yeah, y'all, come on.
Here we go again, go again. Turn it up. Bring the noise. DJ Hero. Number one.
Hi, my name is... What? My name is... Who? My name is... It's named Sadie.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the eighth wonder of the world. H to the Izzo, V to the Izzy,
Hi.
to the Izzo.
What?
The Izzy, H to the
Sadie.
H to the
Sadie.
That's the anthem. Get your hands up.
Jay-Z versus Eminem. One of 93 original mashups. DJ Hero. Rated T for teen.